Welcome back to the O Hockey Show News Center. Today we are going to be covering some of the latest news to come across the NHL and the hockey world. Now, today we've got some signings to tell you all about, and I, your host, am here to tell you all about them. So, of course, the news this morning is Phil Kessel has signed with the Vegas Golden Knights for $1.5 million for 1 year. Now, I think that is a huge steal for the Golden Knights. I've been saying that Phil Kessel led the Coyotes in points, I think, and with 52 points. He had 8 goals, 44 assists. On the Coyotes, 52 points isn't nothing. That's good on a good team, and he did that with the Coyotes, and he's a veteran. Now, of course, will he get back there? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I don't really know if he could get back quite to that, but on the Coyotes. But on the Golden Knights, I could see him at least getting to 50 points again if he plays the same way. Maybe he drops off, but I mean, even if he gets to the 40s, that's still a good thing. The one thing that I think is interesting, though, that people probably don't think about, is that he, at 52 points, is better than both William Karlsson and Riley Smith. They were in the 30s last year. Now, of course, I could say Jack Eichel, but he didn't play that many games. But Phil Kessel had more points than all those guys. And that is, I mean, that's just a big steal for them. I said Kessel would be a huge grab for any team that really wants to add a veteran and a guy that's still playing pretty well on their team. I mean, could you imagine if the Lightning added him? I don't know why most teams didn't add him. Now, of course, Lightning couldn't. They don't really have any money. But that's what I'm saying is that teams should have been looking for him, and Vegas signs him on, which I think they're over the cap, so I'm kind of confused by how they actually did it. But this is a big grab for them, especially when you look at their team of William Karlsson and Riley Smith only getting in the 30s last year. Not very, very good. And that is where I was going to say, well, now this makes Vegas like a huge contender. But at the same time, they add a guy that could be risky in Kessel, kind of, because he is old. Maybe he does fall off a cliff in Vegas. Maybe Phil Kessel in Vegas might not be a good mix because he might be out, doing what Vegas thinks. It might not be Mr. Phil Kessel, the Iron Man. He might be Phil Kessel, the hot dog eater. So you get what I'm saying? This might not be a good pairing for the two. That could get to Phil Kessel's head there. And with people like Riley Smith and William Karlsson, I could see the Golden Knights with this addition. I could see this team becoming the #1 team in the West, or they could, by adding Kessel, Smith, and Karlsson, all three of those guys potentially falling off, that could be a huge problem for the Golden Knights, especially when you add in that you lost Max Pacioretty as well, also Alex Tuch. You bring in Jack Eichel, hoping he can do better there, and you have Mark Stone on the team, who was injured for a whole lot of last year. There's a lot of big problems for the Golden Knights that are looming and could pretty much affect their whole season and could drive them right down the drain. But we'll see. Stastny signs with the Canes. That was the news yesterday, I think, or 2 days ago. I think I learned about it yesterday. I think that's a good move by the Canes. I think they already were loaded on offense, but they bring in a guy who got 21 goals and 24 assists on a team that's not as good as the Canes. I mean, this team just keeps adding more and more to this team. They trade away D'Angelo, bring in Burns, which is kind of interesting. You have a more solidified top defender who's been around a while. Bring him in. You're bringing a guy like Stastny, a proven player, put him in there. I mean, Stastny can play the power play. He can play on that second line if Jesperi Kotkaniemi can't play as good as a center as they would like him to be. So bringing in Stastny just further solidifies the Canes as a true contender. So I would not be surprised if the Canes just do that. I mean, they're already going to do good, but with you bring in a 21 goal scorer and a proven guy in Stastny to this team, and also $1.5 million as well. Two really good contracts, I would say, for the teams, not for the players. Because, I mean, this guy got 45 points last year, and he got 1.5. That's kind of ridiculous, in my opinion. Then we've got, last but not least, Noah Dobson and Romanov being signed to 2 contracts. The young guys, they bring in Lou Lamoriello, not doing anything this offseason, but he keeps around the young guys. Dobson gets paid only $4 million for 3 years, which is kind of interesting. He has 51 points, not 51. Yeah, 52 points, that's right. And 52 points for a young defenseman who's arguably one of the better ones in the league is kind of a pretty big steal for the team. Once again, a really good contract for the team, not so much the player, I would say, especially for 3 years. I would say maybe 1 year at 4, but taking 3 years at $4 million on a team that I see is going down, and so will his play in return. It's kind of a sucky move for Noah Dobson, I'd just say. And really good for the team, not so good for him. I mean, 13 goals, 38 assists. That's on a team where they don't really go for points in the Islanders. So kind of an interesting way of events there. And then Romanov, the guy that they bring in from Montreal, is 3 years at 2.5. Now, I would say that's fair. I would say for him, I would say he probably should have went for more because he is a younger guy. Montreal, I would have, if I was him, I would have wanted more because I'm young and still growing, and I'm going to be going to a more defensively minded team in the Islanders, and I'm a defenseman. But he did only get 3 goals and 10 assists, but he was on the Montreal Canadiens. So I don't really know. Once good contracts for the teams, not so much for the players again. Well, that's going to really put together the Islanders defense there. I think Romanov is a really good addition there, and I mean the Canes further solidify they're offensively amazing, and the Islanders prove even more that they are defensively super strong. But that's really all I got to say. This is just a little bit of the news, since not a lot of things are happening right now. Just a few things that have happened over the last few days that I'd like to cover. So I guess if you enjoyed watching this short little video, please pick up your free subscription down below by hitting that red subscribe button. If you like this video, leave a like. Don't leave a dislike. You can go down below and tell me, what do you think was the best deal on this thing? Who do you think Who do you think makes the biggest impact on their new team? Does Romanov, Stastny, or Kessel? Because Dobson already was on the team. Tell me who you think down below. Until next time, I've been the dapperly dressed host, Owen. Too sweet, and ta-ta for now.